Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 98. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this callous Monday morning. Morning. What the fuck is happening, Brandon? Why are we here in the morning?
I don't know. I really don't know.
This is the worst idea you've ever had. Earth date, December 12th, 2016. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
Swift lifting, ego tripping, and body snatching. Coming at you directly from the mothership.
I like that.
Yeah.
This is really sassy.
We can thank George Clinton for that.
Thanks, George.
Man, George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic, I miss that era of music where they could just say anything. They were on so many drugs that anything they said sounded cool.
Yeah.
I was listening to a bunch of Parliament on the way over in the car, and like every other song, at some point he mentions putting his sunglasses on. Just randomly, middle of a song, and he's like, I better put my sunglasses on so I can see.
Did he have, like, vision problem?
Yeah, they were prescription.
Okay.
I better put on my prescription glasses so I can read this paperwork.
Was that a good bass?
Yeah, I'd
Yeah?
say so. I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
5 strings out of 10.
I see what you did there.
It's a 5-string bass.
Yeah. Bass with 5 strings.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been up to? Now that conversation completely died on the vine.
Yeah, no, that's all. That's it. Just been listening to Parliament Funkadelic.
Just constantly listening to Parliament.
I have been doing nothing, really.
Mm.
I applied to go back to college.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How'd that work out for you?
All right. I have a meeting later today.
Yeah.
I filled out my FAFSA, which is a suicide-inducing form of paperwork.
Uh-huh. I did that not too long ago, too, but I didn't do it again.
It's good for a year, I think.
I think so. I don't know. I did it just because... I don't know. I kind of want to go back to school, but I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
You should come back to school with me. We can be friends. We can take all the same classes.
Yeah.
And you can be there to prop me up.
What?
So I don't inevitably give up.
Inevitably?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's still inevitable...
Yeah, but if you're there to prop me up
then
on the arms of an angel...
Then it's not inevitable?
It'll be like...
or just less inevitable? Because inevitable is still inevitable.
No, but there will be 2 sets of footprints in the college sand.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes there will only be 1 set of footprints. And that's when you were giving me a horsey ride.
To lighten your spirit.
Yeah. Was that when you were carrying me, Rem?
No. I was just giving you a horsey ride. Just making sure you were happy. You little punum, you.
Little what?
Punum.
Punum? What is that?
Little punum.
I don't know what that is.
I call Thaddeus. We have 5 cats, and one of them is named Thaddeus. And Robin Williams, as Genie in Aladdin, like pinches Aladdin's cheek or something and calls him his little punum.
Is it a Jewish term?
Yeah, I think it's a Yiddish.
I guess Yiddish
term
is
of endearment. I'm not 100% sure. I've never researched it. It's just an adorable thing to say.
Can you use Yiddish slang without sounding racist?
I mean, I do all the time, so.
But you do it in kind of a racist Jewish voice.
Oh, I do not. I didn't
Not
even
there.
right now.
You didn't there. Well, like you can say chutzpah.
Yeah.
He's got chutzpah.
Yeah.
But I mean, can you just call somebody a punum?
I mean.
You did.
I did, and it didn't sound particularly offensive.
Yeah. Well, the audience couldn't see that you had your right arm raised when you said it.
I don't understand the reference.
You were pointing directly upwards with 4 fingers.
You're a real mensch.
No, I've just been doing college stuff.
You're making me schwitz over here.
I've been playing Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, really?
Yes. I got that the day it came out.
Why would you do that?
I like Final Fantasy.
I was going to say, are you a big Final Fantasy fan? Because, there are the Final Fantasy fans who almost, don't want to talk about that they're Final Fantasy fans. Mm-hmm. And then you have the ones that just don't want to shut up about it.
Yeah.
So you're the former, not the latter.
Yes. Well, See, because I didn't really play a Final Fantasy game until 10,
Okay.
and that was a few years ago, and I really enjoyed it. It helped that I didn't have a job
Right.
and just had all the time in the world to play it, so I just played constantly.
Sure.
And after that, I went back and checked out some of the earlier Final Fantasies. Like, I haven't played 7, which a lot of people say is the best.
Right.
I started to play 8, and it was fun, but it didn't really hold my interest. 9 was the same way. So I wouldn't say I'm a diehard Final Fantasy fan. I really enjoyed 10. I've played the shit out of Tactics. I love Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was excited for 15.
Give me Crystal Chronicles or give me Death.
Crystal Chronicles was not a good Final Fantasy.
It was so.
It was
much fun
barely
to
a
play,
Final
though.
Fantasy.
It was so much fun to play when you had everybody in the room.
Yeah, I never got to play with you guys on that. When you had
Yeah.
all the Game Boys hooked up to it.
Yeah, you loser.
I know. I was such a loser for not being invited over to a friend's house to play 4-way Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles in high school.
Damn right. We'd like take turns even. Just hand off the controller.
Yeah.
Hand off the DS. It was a DS, right? Yeah.
No, it was a Game Boy Advance. I
Are
don't
you
think you
sure?
could hook the DS up to it.
I'm pretty sure it was a DS.
Nope.
Yes, it was.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Mm-mm.
I bet you it was.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to find out right
Can I
now.
just do that? Is that good podcast listening if I just keep going mm-mm and denying the things you say?
Yes.
Okay. So should I continue this while you Google search?
Uh-huh.
Mm-mm.
I bet it was.
Mm-mm.
It was the thing.
Mm.
So everybody, just so you know, we use Wikipedia a lot, and they're sustained on donations. They don't have ads. So I don't know if you've been to Wikipedia lately, but you may find that about almost 50% of your screen is taken up with them asking for donations. So do that.
Do what?
Donate to Wikipedia.
Have you
Keep it
donated to Wikipedia?
Yeah,
Really?
like $1.
I donated to Wikipedia too.
Did you?
$500.
I don't believe you in the least.
It's less. There's some less zeros
Yeah.
in what I donated.
Uh-huh. Did you just forget to move the decimal point?
Yes, I'm broke now. I'm destitute.
Completely destitute.
You're scrolling and looking, but I can tell you it wasn't the DS.
I'm looking. I want to...
It was the Game Boy Advance or the Game Boy SP. The SP you might be thinking of, because it looks like a DS, except it only has one screen.
See, I feel like it was 2 screens because I could do other things on the
Then
screen.
it was probably
while
the
I
Game Boy Advance. No, that was still one screen.
I feel
Because I don't think they had a thing where you could hook up the DS to the GameCube. I thought it was only the Game Boy Advance because it was a different plug.
Man, I don't even know. Like, I don't know. I'm done looking.
Brandon's right. You're fucking wrong.
How do you know? You never even played it.
I don't need to.
It's true. It was the Game Boy Advance. I just found it.
Did you just read it?
I just found it.
So who was right in this situation, Remington? Remington Allen Hitchcock, who was correct?
Huh?
Who knew more about everything in this situation than you did?
What are we talking about?
Break it down. So it is very early for us. It's not that early. It's what, like 12:30 right now?
Yeah.
Noon 30? But we're used to recording later in the day. I had to get up early for a doctor's appointment. Remington doesn't wake up before 4 o'clock in the afternoon no matter what. So the quality of this podcast is going to be top notch.
Yeah. It's
As
gonna
you
be
can tell from Remington.
beatboxing in the background,
That wasn't even beatboxing.
laying down some bed music.
Bed music?
That's what it's called when you have music playing in the background.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's called a bed.
So we've all learned something today.
We have. I learned
Remington
that in
knows how to
Radioland.
bed music.
Yep, I know how to get that music in my bed. Oh yeah.
I had some more to say about Final Fantasy 15, but
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Okay. Fair
I think
enough.
that bed music did it.
Yeah, I'm glad.
You haven't played a Final Fantasy, so nothing I say would have any frame of reference.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
I mean, I don't want to say that I've never played one. I just haven't played any.
You played Crystal Chronicles with what was the system you hooked up to Crystal Chronicles? I can't remember. What was that?
I have played other Final Fantasies, but not of my own. Not that I owned myself. Like I've dabbled in other people's games,
Okay.
which is just as dirty as it's supposed to sound.
Yeah. You got fingers in many games.
In many chocobo pots.
So
I figured that'd get a bigger giggle.
chocobo pots?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh.
If you said chocobo anuses, anuses.
Aneth. Chocobo Aneth.
So it's hard for me to say this without sounding...
Like an elitist fuck?
No. I always sound like an elitist fuck.
Yeah, you do.
Without sounding homophobic.
Okay.
But gay people just should not be able to get married. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, jeez.
No, Final Fantasy
Wow.
15 is like awkwardly homoerotic.
Okay.
And I've gotten used to it. And I wouldn't say that it's homoerotic so much now. I think it was just my initial shock.
I mean, do you think maybe metrosexual is a better word?
No. No, I would say homoerotic.
Okay.
So the premise is, without getting into it really,
It's a lot of anime boy girls kissing.
You're the prince of a kingdom, and your father sends you to go marry some chick.
Okay.
That's the premise opening thing.
Gotcha.
So you are on a quest to travel cross country in your car with your 3 best friends. There's no female playable characters, at least so far, and I don't think there are.
Okay.
It's just you and your 3 friends on a road trip. So when they made the game, they're trying very hard to make this like a buddy film, like 4 friends on the road busting each other's balls.
This is
and
Final
having
Fantasy?
adventures. Yeah, it's Final Fantasy. First off, it's fucking weird that it's Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
It's good. It's just for the first probably 8 to 10 hours I played, I didn't know if I liked it or not. I kept playing and I was having fun. I just didn't know what to think of it. It's very weird.
Huh.
But they're your typical Japanese representations of men.
Right.
And the Japanese version of what a man's man is, a lot of times it's sort of androgynous. Like when you see what the sexy men are in Japanese culture, they're kind of androgynous with sort of Chelsea haircuts.
Right. Okay.
So you're that. And like one of the dudes in your party is just always wearing a vest with no shirt. Another guy, it's really hard to explain without sounding like I'm being homophobic. And I'm not. Like I have to tiptoe around it because it's so weird. But it just has very strange homoerotic undertones to it.
So it makes you feel funny.
It makes me feel a little uncomfortable, yes. Like
you don't know who you really are on the inside?
Yeah, it's just I'm playing it and I'm just fucking rock hard and I just don't know what's going on. Well, like for example, one of the characters is what you would call your classic twink.
Okay.
And he is a photographer. So at the end of the day, whenever you go to save, you have to rest to get your experience.
Right.
So it goes over, you get your experience, and then it shows you photos that this guy has taken during the day. And you get to pick your favorites and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
When I first started the game, every 3rd picture he took was of the shirtless dude in a vest, just like thumbs up and in different places.
Okay.
To the point where I had to, in-game, have a talk with him and tell him to stop taking pictures of this guy all the time.
So that was an option.
Yes. He at one point said, "Hey, do you think I'm taking too many pictures of this guy? Should I take pictures of other people?" And then it gave me the option to have him take pictures of anybody in the party. And I said, "Yeah, just go ahead and take some pictures of me instead, buddy."
So you were jealous.
Yes.
And you wanted him to take pictures of you.
See, does this mean that I'm gay? Am I gay? Is this where we are now?
I don't know. I mean, if it makes you question, that's the most important thing as a human.
It didn't make
question everything.
It didn't make me question if I was gay, but it made me question why I was so put off by it at first.
Yeah.
But also, like, my interest was piqued a little bit.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Brandon. That might be a conversation you might need to have with your therapist.
Let me just write that down there. Final Fantasy. Yay. Okay, so yeah, that's about what I've been doing this week.
To see why you didn't want to expound upon that.
Yeah.
I'm glad I forced you.
We're just opening new doors all over the place on this podcast, I guess.
I don't even know what I've been up to this past week. It's just been a whirlwind of random little things happening here and there. Really, it's only been, like a week.
It's been 5 days.
It's been 5 days since we recorded last. So, a work week.
Mm.
And I had 3 days off, and I don't even know what I did, man. Like, I worked on the podcast, and I worked on Ginger's gift, which I'll have to show you. But it's I don't want to say exactly what it is because she's, she listens while I edit, and But
Yeah.
she knows some of what it is.
And you've mentioned it before on the podcast.
Yeah. But
It's a Flintstones car, right?
yeah. It's like a little light box, and it'll have LEDs around the inside. I'm basically making a frame, and then the light is going to shine through a poster of some sort. It's like a silken poster that has things on it that I don't want to get too in depth on, and it'll make it glow, and it'll be really cool looking.
So it's kind of like a movie frame poster that you would see like in a movie theater, right?
Yeah, essentially. Only it's got an RGB LED light strip that runs around the inside, and it has a remote, so you can actually change the colors.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's very fancy.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So,
Are the posters gonna be interchangeable?
no.
So she's gotta like that poster a lot, huh?
Yeah, but she will.
Yeah.
I know my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I know what she likes. I know what Ginger likes. I know what Ginger wants.
These episodes get real weird when we haven't slept.
Yeah, they do. I was up late last night.
Yeah, it was a hard sell to get you to record this morning.
It really was.
Because like I said, I had to be up very early for a doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
And I'm out anyway, so I just wanted to come over and record after that. So I told
Yeah.
Rem I'd be here like 10:30 a.m.
And I asked if he wanted me to kill myself.
I do,
Uh-huh.
and I did.
Yes. So that's why we're recording at what would be morning for me,
Yeah.
and normal times for everybody else in the world. But I mean, it's my day off. Like Mondays and Tuesdays are my days off.
Well,
I
you
got
s-
off early Sunday.
So you still have tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
to be
but
off.
I'm gonna spend all that time editing the podcast.
No, you don't. Just put it up raw. Just do it live.
Just raw dog it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Raw dog it.
That escalated quickly.
I really feel like we need to have better lives.
What are you trying? Are you saying we're boring?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, every week when we're like, so what have you been doing? What have you been doing? Mine's like, oh, I've been playing a game. I'll just name whatever bullshit game I've been playing. And then besides that, I've been working. And it's at that every fucking week.
Yeah,
And,
it's true.
you're the same thing. I've been working. I've been doing this on the computer. I don't know. We need some excitement in our lives.
Well,
I don't
I
know. I
mean,
went rock climbing last Saturday.
It's just a lead in, man.
Oh, yeah, I know. But, like, just when you really break it down, we don't do anything.
No,
Like, we're just fucking wasting
we are
our lives.
incredibly boring.
I know.
I've come to terms with this.
I'm not. I'm still trying to fight it.
Well, then you need to get out more, buddy.
And do what?
Rock climb,
If I'm not good at climbing a
Well,
rock.
nobody starts.
I
off
don't like
being,
rocks.
Nobody starts off being good at climbing rocks. You start at a small outcropping. I mean, come on.
Maybe a pile.
Maybe
One
a
of
pile,
those.
yeah.
Oh, what culture is that just piles rocks for graves?
Scandinavian.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Okay.
I'll climb those.
Okay. Climb Scandinavian gravestones.
Okay. So next week I will give a full report on the Scandinavian gravestones in West Virginia that I found
Yeah.
and scaled.
Spoiler alert, there are none.
You'll just have to stay tuned to find out.
Yeah. Do we have any actual stories?
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Let me see what I got.
Just get us started, man. Just let's get out of this now that we've pointed out how terribly exciting
Mundane
our
we
lives.
are.
Yeah. Now I don't even want to do this bit anymore. I don't even want to be here anymore.
All right, let's go with a classic segue here.
Okay.
You like ants that farm, Remington?
By God, Brandon, I love ants that farm.
A scientist, I don't have it pulled up, so I'm just going to be talking in very vagaries instead of specifics.
Okay.
A scientist discovered that ants have been farming. The first recorded instance of humans farming is 100,000 years later than the first recorded instance of ants farming.
100,000 years?
Mhm.
Like, how do they know that, though?
Fossils, oracles.
Oh, I guess that would make sense. Fossils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's-
I guess it's like...
oh, yeah, those things exist.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's some ant in Fiji that this scientist noticed that they all lived in these clusters of fruits
Okay.
on specific trees. And they noticed, like, that's weird that those fruits are only growing on that cluster of trees and none of the trees around them have fruits.
Okay.
And when they would take the fruits off, they would notice that each fruit, no matter what they would pick, would have ants inside of it.
Ah.
So then they studied them over the course of, like, quite a while and saw that these ants were physically cultivating these fruits until they grew, then taking the seeds from the fruit, going further along the arm of the tree, tearing off little bits of bark until it was raw tree, and then planting the seed inside, using fertilizer and allowing the fruit to grow so then they could expand the colony to another fruit. That they were using both for shelter and for food.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really incredible.
I know. Isn't that nuts that something has been farming for that long?
Yeah.
And then it led me into this whole spiral of this sort of philosophical debate about whether ants are intelligent organisms or not.
Uh-huh.
Because there was a study, without getting into it because a lot of it was pretty boring as far as what she did, but there was this lady scientist who kept an ant hill, basically an ant farm, and she would move the walls and expand the walls and kind of fuck up their colony every so often and see how they reacted to it and just watch them in that way.
Okay.
And she kind of concluded that ants individually don't have personality, obviously. They work for the hive mind.
Right.
And she concluded that ants by themselves aren't conscious because consciousness means that you're aware. You know that you exist.
Right.
But a colony as a whole has consciousness.
Okay. So
Each individual ant has no consciousness, but the colony has consciousness.
Huh. So each colony would have its own personality.
See, I don't know. I don't think that personality doesn't mean consciousness.
No.
Consciousness is just being aware that you exist. But yeah, I don't know if they develop personalities and stuff. Like that colony's a real jokester.
That is a colony prankster right
That's
there.
a gruff colony over there.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with him.
But yeah, and I mean, I don't know enough about philosophy to wax philosophical about this. But it is interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Because she almost compared it to the neurons in the brain.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're as smart as a scientist,
Oh my
Remington.
God. I don't believe that for a second. I don't have a PhD or anything.
You have a pretty hot derriere.
Kind of glad you went there, I guess.
This is a shit show from beginning to end.
We just want to make sure that you're entertained.
Yeah, that's it.
If you're not, go ahead and turn it off.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's fine.
Yeah, you're not.
You
Gonna
can
hurt our
skip a week.
feelings.
It's okay.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Waka, waka.
Wah, wah. Speaking of fossils, though, what about that? How's about that, Brandon? How's about speaking of fossils, Brandon?
Yeah,
How's about that one fossil with the dinosaur?
the dinosaur tail and
The
amber.
dinosaur tail, yeah.
I don't care.
Do you not really? Do you really not care?
No, I mean it's tiny,
Yeah, but isn't that?
tiny little baby tail.
Yeah, but it has feathers.
so
Like, we assumed through fossil record that some dinosaurs had feathers. And if I remember correctly, this fossil actually happened during the Jurassic period.
yeah,
So this is the first physical evidence proving that this particular dinosaur had a tail or had feathers. Sorry.
yeah.
And there was an ant in that amber too, which was pretty cool.
And the ant was farming
The ant was farming feathers
for a feather farm.
for a feather farm.
Well, they knew that dinosaurs had feathers
Yeah.
because the where the feathers would grow from the bones. There was little things that are in the bones that show where feathers will grow. So yeah, is that what the significance was? That this is the first time they found actual feathers on a...
Yeah, because the feathers would have, decomposed. Bones don't, but feathers do,
Yeah.
Feather and skin and things like that. So, yeah, this is the first, physical evidence of it. And they can also confirm that it was not a flying dinosaur.
Oh, didn't they say it was related to a raptor?
I don't remember that. But I do recall that they said that it was probably not a flying dinosaur or that it wasn't a bird of some sort, because the tail segment is movable, whereas a bird's tail is not. The bones are basically fused together
Okay.
to make a stiff armature, I guess.
Okay.
So it could use the tail as a rudder.
Yeah, I mean, I did think it was cool.
Yeah.
But
don't
I
know.
didn't really have a whole lot of thought beyond that.
Yeah, I had a little bit. I mean, that was the extent of it.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. It's really cool to just continuously finding pieces of history.
Well, and
That-
did you read
that-
how they found it?
Yeah, wasn't it purchased?
Yeah. It was a scientist who was in a market in China. I think it was China, or it was an Asian country. I think it was China. Yeah, they were just in a market and were asking one of the vendors about amber stuff. The vendor was like, "Oh, I have this one," and showed it to him. and it just had the fucking tail inside with some ants. And they said it has ants and a plant inside.
Yeah.
So the vendor thought it was some sort of plant.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Some vendor had just found that somewhere and picked it up. It's like, oh, I could probably sell this to some tourist.
Yeah. Well, the and I think it was a lady scientist here too, had to get a hold of her school.
Right.
To make sure they could give her the funding to buy it. Which presumably makes me think that this wasn't just some street vendor, selling genie lamps and stuff also.
Right.
They knew at least some sort of significance to the amber they were selling.
I gotcha. Huh.
That she's not just buying it with pocket change,
Yeah. Although that would have been an even better story. Like the dude just didn't know what he had. He's like, yeah, I've got some carpets over here. I've got this amber with what looks to be a plant in it.
Yeah. Yeah, throw it in with the carpet.
Yeah. It's a flying carpet.
Yeah.
But don't try to fly with it.
No. Until you leave here.
Yeah.
And then you can try to fly with it.
Yep. After you sign this waiver. So that's enough fossil talk for the day.
Here's what else I have.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Researchers in Toronto
okay.
have taught a computer to write and sing a holiday carol. They have a technology called neural karaoke, in which they feed this computer hundreds of hours of music and images, and it writes a song off of it.
Okay.
So they fed this thing hundreds of hours of Christmas music and gave it a bunch of images of Christmas, just Christmas imagery.
Okay.
And then it digitized and wrote a song with lyrics.
Okay.
Would you like to hear this song?
Yeah. Is it any good?
It is 58 seconds long.
Okay.
I mean, I saw it first posted on the Huffington Post. They were re-blogging from the Toronto Sun. And, the Huffington Post is like BuzzFeed in the way they write, where it's like the creepiest thing you'll ever fucking hear, and it'll make you shit your pants because it's so scary. Like, it's not. I mean, it's cool. It's a little weird.
Right.
But, it's super overplayed, like, computers are doing this. It's basically using a offshoot of whatever that Google Dream technology is.
Yeah.
Wants to decorate the room. The Christmas tree is filled with flowers. I swear it is Christmas Eve. I hope that is what you say. The best Christmas present in the world is a blessing. I've always been there for the rest of our lives. 100.5 hours ago, I am glad to meet you. I can hear the music coming from the hall. A fairy tale, a Christmas tree. There are lots and lots and lots of flowers.
That's a new hit. Let's resurrect Bing Crosby to sing that right now.
Remind me when we do our pre-Christmas episode to rip a copy of that so we can throw it on the end of our Christmas episode, okay?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
I like the classic lines. What do we got here? I swear it's Christmas Eve. I hope that's what you say.
Yeah. And lots and lots and lots and lots of flowers.
I've always been there for the rest of our lives 100.5 hours ago. I'm glad to meet you.
That was, I mean, just, it's almost like a 3-year-old with like the basic form of language wrote it.
But,
which I guess is true of it.
When you think about it then, due to these neural networks and things that they've programmed, we now have computers that can write music as if a 3-year-old human was writing music.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah, that is.
I mean, there's so much of this stuff going on. There's a Twitter account that I follow called Robo Rosewater.
Right.
It's based off of Mark Rosewater, who's the lead designer of Magic.
Yeah.
Robo Rosewater uses this same technology and just eats Magic cards. Just the text on Magic cards.
Okay.
And then generates Magic cards from this. And a lot of them are nonsensical, but some of them aren't.
Right.
But it's able to get the formatting down.
Yeah.
It's able to do casting cost, name, creature type, all of that with no human input outside of this information being fed into it. So there's human input, but it's completely robot output.
That is really weird.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Are there any cards that you actually remember that stand out to you? Like even a nonsensical one?
I can pull up the Twitter real quick and see. There's been, some of them are like shuffle your shuffle. Like
Okay.
it's still trying to make sense of.
The word usage?
Yeah. Well, there's also another guy who's feeding this same sort of computer brain magic artwork, and it's picking out faces and colors and the way things are laid out, and is generating magic card artwork based off of artwork that exists.
Huh.
And it's really weird to see how it works, because it's like if you were to look at a human through like diffused glass where you can sort of see just basic shapes.
Yeah.
It's managed to break down not just human shapes, but like structure of a photo and composition and color.
Yeah.
It's nailed that down first.
Huh.
So it's really cool to see.
That is really weird.
Yeah, I'll pull up a best of Robo Rosewater, and then if you want to talk about Spider-Man, then we can wrap it up, I suppose.
Yeah.
Very short episode. Probably better for the audience. It's a very short episode.
Huh. Right.
Oh, here we go. This one isn't particularly hilarious, but
Okay.
this is a land. Its name is Raka Rornishi,
Okay.
and its ability, Raka Rornishi enters the battlefield.
Okay.
So, like I said, that's it. I said, they're mostly nonsensical, but you can see as it progresses that it's getting more and more close to actually making real cards.
Gotcha.
There's been some that it's produced that are viable cards you could see in Magic that wouldn't be overpowered.
Huh.
Granted, there's no way so far, I would imagine, to teach it like this wouldn't be a balanced, powerful card.
Right.
Just the fact that this fucking computer is managing to take all these things and create its own out of it is nuts.
Yeah.
Here's one more.
Okay.
It costs a black, a red, and 3 colorless. Its name is Kirin Seedai. Creature, zombie shaman, 2/2. Pay 1 colorless and 3 black. Tap. Sacrifice a player. Put a +1/+1 counter on one of that land is Drandor.
It was sounding really good there for a minute.
Yeah, well, and that's when you notice on one of that land is Trandor.
Yeah.
It's when you see stuff like that, this thing's working from nothing.
Yeah.
It's putting words completely together. So when it gets like a Trandor, that really shows that under the hood, it's not just picking and choosing words from Magic cards and scrabbling them together.
Yeah.
It's learning how to speak and
Yeah.
how to format a card.
Yeah. You even get that with the names. Just Karen's CD.
Yeah.
QERANSSEADIE.
Kieran Seedy.
CD. Seedai.
Seedai.
Because I think that's what you said was Seedai.
Yeah. I was trying to make it sound more menacing.
Sure. As well it should be. I mean, it's a black and red card, right?
And you get to sacrifice a player. I mean, that's pretty huge.
Yeah. You're dead. For 4 mana? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, see, but the problem is the rules of Magic, you can only sacrifice something that you own.
Yeah.
Or you control.
Right.
So you would have to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah.
But the ability would still go off.
Or you'd have to be able to control a player.
You would have to be able to control a player, and they would have to have that ability. I guess you could donate that card to them. You could donate Kieran Seedy to them, and then use something like Mindslaver to control their next turn, and then use it to sacrifice them.
Oh, there you go. See, you're making sense of it?
Here's what. Okay, one more. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
1 white, 3 colorless, 2/2. Geyser's Ach.
Geyser's Ach.
Creature, cat warrior. Sacrifice Geyser Ach. Exile Geyser Ach.
Well, what are we going to do? Sacrifice them or exile them?
I guess you would sacrifice them and then immediately exile them.
Yeah, because it would go to the graveyard on the sacrifice, and then
So one of the fun things
then you'd exile it from the graveyard.
that I like reading on the Magic Reddit board is seeing people look at the cards and then try to argue how it would work and what kind of deck you would make.
Out of that.
Like this one red for a 1/1, bird creatures have haste.
Yeah.
By itself, not a bad card.
Sure.
It's a creature cat, and its name is Desert Wooder.
Good old Desert Wooder. Giving the birds haste.
Speaking of things that give us wood, Remington, did you see this? Did you see the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer?
I did. I don't think that I got wood off of it, but
Neither did I.
well, you're the one who's
So what'd you
questioning your Final Fantasy sexuality.
think? Shut up. Shut it, you.
So we watched it at the top of the episode to refresh our memories because it'd been a day or two since I'd seen it, and I'm terrible at remembering anything.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
I don't know.
Well, at least we're friends, right?
I'm just yeah.
Oh wait,
I'm just a girl in the world, and that's all that I'll ever be.
Oh, Brandon. So
It's Gwen.
we can. This is going to be a short episode
Yeah.
because you have to go. But do you think we can safely say that we should probably never do one of these early morning episodes?
I think it's one of our best episodes.
Do you? Okay.
No.
Okay. So yeah, we watched the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer.
Mm-hmm. It was out when we recorded last episode.
It
we
was.
just kind of missed it.
Yeah. So okay, go. Tell me your impressions. Give me your impressions. I always like to work off of you. So
What is the actor's name who's playing Peter Parker? Ray Charles? No.
Bob
Charles
McFinnigan.
Bob McFinnigan. Tom DeLonge of Blink-182.
Rory McFickleson.
Rory. Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Okay, so I think Tom Holland as Spider-Man is great.
Yeah.
Just from Captain America Civil War, I thought he was fantastic. I'm interested to see how it goes in Homecoming, because in Civil War, I don't know if I was just seeing it through kind of rose-tinted glasses as far as like, I'm seeing Spider-Man with the Avengers, Marvel properties are starting to come together, awesome.
Yeah.
But in the trailer, he looked good.
It's really kind of weird to me. There are a few things that are kind of weird to me because the Peter Parker kind of dynamic that they've set up over the past, 10 years almost, really. Peter he's still young, as far as it goes.
He's high school Peter.
But, they've all set up to where he's like just barely got out of high school, he's done with that arc in his life. So they're really starting him, boom, like we're right in high school. And, Tobey Maguire's first Spider-Man started off in high school. But I mean, like I said, it was just the very tail end, and then we didn't really see much of anything of his school life.
Yeah.
Except for, backflipping over the bully who was trying to punch him. And,
Getting his hand caught on the school bus.
Yeah.
And ripping off the homecoming sign.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that did happen.
When he's chasing the bus.
Yeah, I
he's,
forgot
like,
about that
pounding
for
on
a
it.
second. Yeah.
You thought I was just bullshitting you.
No. I couldn't remember the scene.
You think I'm Spider-Boy?
So anyway, doing that and then seeing Aunt May, being...
A tall drink of water?
yeah. Who was... I forget what her name is.
Sally Fields?
No.
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yes. These fucking actors that we know.
Spider-Man Homecoming. Now I'm just a girl stuck in my head, by the way. No doubt.
Yeah. We have Aunt May, and she's, she's a younger Aunt May. She's played by Marissa Tomei. And, Marissa Tomei still has, like, a pretty rockin' body and dark, flowing, luscious hair. And,
Yeah.
It's I've always viewed Aunt May as kind of an older woman,
Well, you view her, at least for me, I view her as the animated series Aunt May.
Yeah, sure.
Like the decrepitly, like very nice and friendly, but I mean, they drew her like a decrepit monster. She had wrinkles on top of wrinkles.
Yeah.
And you wanted to just pinch her saggy cheeks and give her a kiss. She was adorable, but like, she looked like the Crypt Keeper kind of. And now you have Marissa Tomei. Was it Sally Fields that was Aunt May in the Tobey Maguire one?
I don't remember. No. In the Tobey Maguire one, maybe
Who is Sally Fields? Am I even thinking of the right person? Yeah, I'm thinking of Sally Fields. The mom from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right, yeah. Was she Aunt May in the Andrew Garfield one?
Maybe.
Because I know it wasn't the Tobey Maguire ones.
Oh, yeah, Aunt May and the Tobey Maguire ones, they were still going with, like, old.
Yeah, they were going with proper old Aunt May.
She had, like, gray hair. She had, like, that kind of youthful spirit, but had sort of the gray hair.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
the stark, white, shocking, monstrous cartoon Aunt May.
Right, sure. But, yeah, I mean, it's still, it's off-putting because I've always viewed Aunt May as an elderly woman. And, I mean, Marissa Tomei is a sprightly 52, so...
And Peter Parker in this
looks like she's more like in her early 40s. So
He looks like he's maybe 15 or 16,
Yeah.
which I like.
Yeah, and I mean, you really kind of get that with the way that Tony is talking to him. Like, he's straight up talking down to this genius of a child. But it's okay because it's freaking Tony Stark, and he is a genius in his own right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and they kind of show it in Civil War that he respects Peter Parker as a scientist as well.
Yeah.
That's one of the things.
But we're seeing, even in the trailer, we're seeing a lot more of a dynamic where he's just like, listen, man, I mean, just leave the big baddie fighting to you just take care of these little small crimes, That's what I need you here for, It's like, I don't have time to mess with this, but the police are, just overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if there's an end goal to that, because Tony Stark seems like, from the movies anyway, that they've set him up as, he's kind of a schemer.
Yeah.
He's always got stuff going behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
So I wonder if that'll play out. And if it'll give a reasoning for why he's telling Peter that specifically. Outside of just, I'm trying to keep you safe, kid. If there's more to it.
Yeah. Or I don't know. I mean, it could just be that Tony is, testing him. Maybe he wants him to push those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, I don't want you to do anything, but go do something. Seriously, bro. I want to see what you're made of.
But why would he? If the Avengers still exist? Because I've seen people speculating, I don't know how much this speculation is true, that some of this movie will take place before Civil War.
Uh-huh.
And when you're seeing Tony Stark talking to him, I think in that limousine,
yeah,
that he's talking to him before Civil War. And then, but you do see him watching film of him fighting in Civil War on the laptop in the high school when the teacher's like, Peter, are you with us? And he shuts it.
Yeah.
So it could be a some before, some after, kind of showing more of how Tony got Peter involved. Because when Peter Parker shows up, it's not in Civil War, he talks to him and is like, I'll be in touch. And then suddenly Spider-Man's there.
Yeah.
There's a lot left.
Yeah.
That I am
like
wondering
even when they're building their teams, he's like, I think I know a guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, to pin him against other superheroes, yeah, there'd have to be some time between that. He would have had to have proven himself in some way that Tony was like, yeah, I'm going to bring this kid in.
Well, and he shows him, because when Tony shows up, Peter is already going out in a homemade suit fighting.
Yeah.
Because Tony shows him that YouTube video and it's like, hey, do you know this guy?
Yeah.
Have you seen him? So he's already been superheroing around. He's been Spider-Manning up the city for a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because at the end of Civil War, here's spoiler alert, I guess, the movie's been out long enough that if you haven't seen it, go fuck yourself.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a little harsh.
Yeah, it was.
Go love yourself.
Yeah.
The team splits up. The Avengers are effectively broken up. I mean, you still have the Avengers. It's just the Avengers as we know it is broken up.
Yeah.
Hulk's gone. Thor's gone. Captain America is just totally split.
Yeah.
And then Tony and Black Widow are training. So that's where you're going to have like Iron Man, Black Widow, the Falcon.
Yeah.
You're going to have new Avengers going forward. So I wonder if the latter half of Spider-Man Homecoming is about him fighting the Vulture and then joining the Avengers.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, Disney XD has its own Spider-Man Ultimate and then Sinister Six thing, or those story arcs that they've had where Peter is like on the Triskelion and he has been training his own, I don't want to say Avengers, but it was almost a B team to the Avengers. And then he has his own spider crew where it's all of the different Spider-Men.
Really? That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Like Venom, good Venom.
Okay.
Scarlet Spider.
Spider Brad.
Spider Brad, Black Widow?
Black Cat?
White Cat.
No, it's Black Cats. Cat is
there's a female cat character.
Yeah, it's Black Cat.
But she's wearing a white suit.
Does she have white hair?
No.
Oh. I don't know. Black Cat is like Spider-Man's classic.
Iron Fist.
Is that a superhero or are you just threatening me right now?
I'm just threatening
You're just shaking your fist at me.
What is his name? Oh my god, what is his name?
Iron Fist?
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Okay, I was right. Oh my god. You're making me question myself. I'm like, wait, do I look like an asshole right
I'm just sowing chaos into what is already a scattered podcast.
There's a slew of, like, in the different story arcs, he has basically a different team.
Mm-hmm.
So, because in one of the story arcs, I think it's the Sinister Six, it's all the Spider guys. And then
I like spider guys.
yeah,
Term.
spider guys. Everybody has fucking spider powers.
Let's go ahead and trademark that.
Yeah, we'll get on it. So anyway, it's interesting to see, okay, this is almost like after the Avengers. Like the Avengers are no longer Avengers.
You're talking about
So,
Homecoming or the
yeah.
XD shows?
So, coming back to the Homecoming.
Okay.
Where it's almost like Tony is out looking for new soups to be Avengers. But there's this, there's this vetting and training process that has to happen.
Yeah.
So, but let's take a spin off of that and go to Michael Keaton as the Vulture.
That's what I was about to ask.
Okay.
Perfect. What do you think of Michael Keaton as the Vulture? Do you see him without the helmet in that trailer?
Yeah, you do.
You do?
Yeah, when he said, "You don't want to mess with me, kid.
I'll eat your bones.
I'll eat your bones. I'll eat your Peter bones."
That's what a vulture does. Okay, that's him.
Yeah. No, he says, "You don't want to mess with me, kid. I'll kill you, and I'll kill everybody that."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's not wearing the mask on that. Although, man, I tell you what, that suit, like between the practical and the, well, I mean, we assume they're practical, but like as the Avengers movies and the Iron Man movies went on, Robert Downey Jr. like had less and less to wear. Like that whole suit was CGI, except for like the helmet.
Yeah.
By that point, really. So,
see, I didn't even know the suit was CGI.
yeah.
That
Exactly.
looks fucking good.
Exactly. I just watched Rocket Jump. You remember Rocket Jump? He's the Asian guy, YouTube filmmaker.
Who does like crazy special effects?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he has his own like film school series that he started as well, and he released kind of a rant about CGI is always bad except that it isn't. Is kind of what the video is called, paraphrasing a little bit. And he's talking about just all these instances where they use CGI to great effect, making you think like the entire cityscape in Avengers, where Loki opens the portal, opens the Tesseract. The whole city is CGI.
Oh, what they can do with CGI now is insane.
Yeah.
And I can speak partially to that, again, from playing Final Fantasy 15. Just playing the new games that are out there.
Yeah.
The amount of CGI is close to photorealistic on some stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was playing a fucking basketball game on my original 360, NBA 2K11, and my girlfriend walked out and saw me playing it, and didn't see the controller in my hand, and was like, "Are you just watching basketball?"
Yeah.
And this was from 2011, thought
Yeah.
I was watching a basketball game.
Yeah.
I mean, just what they can do technologically with graphics now is crazy.
And that's what Freddie Wong was saying. That he's the guy who does the rocket jump stuff. He was saying, people from far away, you can CGI the hell out of them, and they look just fine. Buildings, vehicles, sometimes explosions, sometimes fire and stuff like anything, helicopters, stuff like that. Again, it goes back to vehicles. But coming back to Tony Stark's suit, and now looking at the Vulture, and you can see in some of the scenes where he's like proper flying, where you say, okay, that's probably a CGI suit here,
Yeah.
But
I don't think he's actually flying with metal vulture
Right.
wings.
But there's some things that are still kind of obviously CG. But even simple things like with that mask, it might just be that Michael Keaton has some little sticky balls on him and just to line up the mask.
Yeah.
And the whole mask is CGI, which is really interesting because it looks. You see that. It's like maybe 4 frames where he turns and looks at the camera with the glowing green of the mask, and you can the mask itself is almost a silhouette, but you can still kind of get the glimpses of the metal of it, and it looks like a practical effect.
I don't know how big of a fan of Michael Keaton I am as the Vulture.
Oh, really?
I mean, the Vulture's not a character that I'm like really attached to in any way.
Sure.
He doesn't look like the Vulture. Granted, the Vultures, there's been so many incarnations that I was reading that the Ultimates Vulture was based off of Jason Statham.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have super fond memories of Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
But I don't really know him from much.
Beetlejuice,
Batman. He was in Birdman, which I've heard is really good. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and I have that TiVoed, and I haven't watched it yet, but I heard that it was really good as well. And I mean, yeah, he was his halcyon days were like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
You really kind of started seeing things go downhill with Multiplicity, which in its own right was a good movie in a silly way, but it was not one of his shining works. The one Michael Keaton movie, and it's one of his earlier ones that I always look fondly on but can never remember the name of, and I had to look it up just now, was Johnny Dangerously.
Okay, what's that?
You would probably enjoy it. It's kind of a gangster film, but it's also it's a comedy as well. And I don't know, I kind of like that style of movie. That's all there really is to it. I don't remember enough of it to give you a synopsis.
Okay.
But I think it would be one that you would enjoy.
Just silly gangsters?
Yeah. Uh-huh. So, yeah. As for him playing the Vulture, I don't know. It'll really just be something I have to see. That's all I really have to say about it. I mean, he could be just a fine Joker or Vulture. And, it'll depend primarily, because I don't know much about the Vulture as a character. You know more than I do. You were saying something about him. His Vulture ability is draining the life force from people.
Yeah, apparently
some of the comics.
I was reading about him on Wikipedia to make sure before I brought that up.
Okay.
And that was, I guess, just part of a story from the animated series.
Okay.
His base powers are that he's super strong.
Okay.
His suit's like an electromagnetic harness that allows him to fly. He has there's razor sharp wings that he uses.
Sure.
And then he's just super strong.
Okay.
And then in some of the comics, it augments him so much that even when he takes off the suit, he retains that strength for a while, and then it slowly fades. But he drains energy from people to keep himself youthful.
Gotcha.
I don't think it's to the extent that the animated series was, where he would actually de-age.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I guess in one of the newer series, and I gotta check this out because this sounds pretty cool, he has worn the suit so much that even when he's not wearing it, he still has the ability to levitate.
Oh, that's
like
weird.
He can't fly, he can just kind of levitate.
Huh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Also doesn't really make sense technically, but...
Yeah, you like your electromagnetic harnesses that allow you to fly based in reality.
That's right, by God. I know in some of the cartoons, Doc Ock uses him, and it eventually infects him with his own nanites to control him.
The Vulture?
Yeah.
In some versions of the comic, he can also spit acid from his mouth.
Makes perfect sense. That's what vultures do.
Yeah, vultures love acid.
They love spitting acid. They do say, if I remember right, they do say that their spittle is very toxic.
From eating so much carrion?
Yeah.
Maybe?
I might just be making things up. That's an extreme
Are you thinking of Gila monsters?
Yes.
The Gila monster.
Gila.
Could you do that as a villain? It's Gila.
Are you sure?
Is it Gila?
Is it Gila or Gila? I've heard it both ways.
Viscount.
Viscount Terry. Speaking of Viscount Terry, should we go ahead and wrap up?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and
wrap up. Anything else to say about that? Brandon's got to go. He's got to go do the college thing, and it's 1:25 right now, so it's going to take him about 15-20 minutes to get out to the school.
I have a meeting with the colleges.
He has to college up the meetings.
I'm just going to walk in there with an MP3 player, and instead of filling out any classes, I'm going to slap it down on the fucking counter, and I'm going to start playing one of these episodes, and I'm going to lean back in the chair and go, "You tell me."
Yeah.
Hopefully they will have asked me a question that would warrant that response.
But if not, no harm, no foul, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a couple comments this week.
We did. Why are they not showing up on my notifications? That's what I want.
Because they were posted somehow on the Facebook, DuelingOgres.com. They didn't just show up on the article itself. At least when I got the notifications, it said somebody commented on your Facebook, DuelingOgres.com account.
Yeah, and I got that as well.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
You tell me.
I will, by Craggy. So yeah, on 97, Larry Hott commented and saying that the synergy was amazing in the episode. Like we were sharing a brain.
Yeah.
And I told him that's what an alien earworm can do. Terry, Viscount Terry, also played the clarinet for 1 year.
What does he say? I did not find it pleasurable. Or something like that.
Can't say that I even remotely enjoyed that brief experience.
Stephen Hines left a comment that made me legitimately guffaw
Oh, yeah.
And I don't use the word guffaw lightly.
Yeah, yeah.
You know me.
On 96, Stephen, apparently he binge listened to the last 2 episodes because he was behind. He commented that Terry was cheap. I was like, nah, Terry's not cheap. He's just a minimalist. And he was like, no. Terry's told me he's cheap. So
Terry never replied to that,
No,
which
he
made
didn't.
me wonder.
yeah.
Because he was specifically tagged.
Yeah.
Also.
Stephen also said that he had a former neighbor who had a prolapse rectum. His ass literally fell through his hole.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's what prolapse things do.
yeah. They prolapse. And on 97, he said that he was only halfway through the episode, but we had already named 2 of his favorite sexual positions, put it in the dumpster, and tapping the nostalgia line. So
Also on 96, Terry commented, and we said he commented, but he actually said something worthwhile as far as like us replying to or us commenting on.
yeah.
Do you see what it is?
Years ago, I played a space RPG called Traveler. There was time spent aboard ship, and there was space combat. It was up to the GM to keep things interesting while on the ship, but there wasn't a lot of time spent on the ship with the jump technology, which, if I recall, wasn't reliable as to the destination if your crew could only afford the cheap fuel. Most of the action adventure took place on moons, planets, and space stations/docks destinations or on layovers. Also, if I accurately recall, one of the interesting things about Traveler was that your character could actually die during character generation before the game even started, and you'd have to start that whole generation process over, which is crazy.
It's hilarious, but also the first time it happened would be funny. The second or third time it happened, you'd be like, fuck this game.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I mean, you would think that, like, it's curious to know how often that would happen.
Yeah.
You know? Like, was it just something that was just a fluke that you'd just roll some dice and your stamina was too low and you'd just die or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Or as you roll hit points and then it's like roll for your negatives. Oh, you lose 4 hit points for whatever, so you're just dead already.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to make that joke. That was too dark.
Okay.
Yeah. Never mind.
We'll save it for Dueling Ogres After Dark.
Yeah, it's way too early for that. So we haven't had any call-ins recently.
Mm-hmm.
Really bummed about that. We should get people calling. If you want to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978-DUOGRES. That's 978-386-4737. You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres. Email us at duelingogres@gmail.com or leave a comment on the Facebook page. Make sure to check out our website, duelingogres.com, for articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. Recently, we had Mumfrey write about his experiences in some of the local shops.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking to possibly write some game-related articles.
Yes.
He's kind of asking us what we want. And really, I mean, I haven't had a chance to respond to him yet, but...
Yeah, I suggested to him that he should write like some sort of game reviews.
Yeah.
And then he asked me if I had anything specific in mind, and then I just didn't reply back.
Yes.
So I need to reply back to that.
So, I mean, you know, that's the thing.
We don't know board games.
It's an interesting dichotomy because, you know, we'd like to have more writers. So if anybody's interested in writing about geek news, you can reach us just send us an email at duelingogres@gmail.com. But we don't know what to write.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's you know, we want to rely on your ability to bring your own flair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we want you to be the creative force.
we
creative tour de force.
We want to be Santa leaning back in the sleigh with milk and cookies, and we want you to be the reindeer pulling us as we whip at you.
That's right.
That's
want
our
you to
goal.
be the elves that we put on the assembly line, putting tedious little blocks together to make toy trains. That's what we want.
And we want to bang Mrs. Claus.
We just want to bang Mrs. Claus for 364 days of the year. And then do work once a year.
Why does it always end up like this?
Like we're just making it sound like it's the worst experience.
I know.
It doesn't even take long to write an article. I'm just so bad at it.
Yeah.
Whenever I do write one, it's fine, but to come up with an idea.
Yeah, I think your
of my
articles
own
are fine.
to come up with an article. My biggest problem personally is that the things that I kind of want to write about, nobody wants to read about.
Do it. Nobody reads it anyway. Just put it out there.
Oh, you're not helping the case for us getting more writers. But no, Mumphrey's article is really good. We can't wait to have more from him. Terry's is actually already out. These are coinciding with the release of his new book, Thunder Wells, which is available on Kindle. It was available the 11th on Kindle and several other ebook sites.
Yeah.
And it is available for order through paperback. We'll have a link in the description where you can grab that up if you'd like.
Yeah, go check it out.
Yep. And
sorry, I thought I was going to have more to it than just like...
Just go check it out.
Go check it out.
Go check it out.
Missed,
just get it.
Being an audio format, you missed, I legitimately did a wide sweeping motion with both of my arms.
Yeah.
Like I was on stage.
So he's got an article that's just released about RPGs and writing and how they can coincide, and you can use that to better your writing if you're wanting to release an article. And then if you're wanting to release a book or something like that. And then the next article that will be coming out probably within the next 4 or 5 days or so, which it might already be out when this episode comes out, because I'm going to release this a little bit later, closer to Thursday probably. It's going to be like a sizable article of getting yourself into that mentality of what you might need to just sit down and write a novel, write a story, write a book.
Are we faced with the harsh irony that we don't know what to write about for articles as we're posting an article from a published writer that we have already read, talking about ways to become a better writer and to just basically get off of your ass and just start writing?
Yeah, it's really I mean, that's the crux of the article is just, you don't have time to do it. Well, of course you don't have time to do it. You need to sit down and make time to do it. You know, you just need to sit down and you just need to do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really the crux of the article.
And we have taken that to heart not at all, apparently.
We are awful at our jobs, though.
Uh-huh.
At our podcasting job.
Yes.
To be fair.
Working 9 to 5.
Working 9 to 5.
Okay, all right.
Sorry,
that's enough.
You can't bring in Dolly Parton and expect me not to sing it, jerk.
This is enough.
This
is it.
So, if you want to go over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. That would be sweet. Leave us a little review. You know, tell us how awesome and funny we are and good looking, even though this is a podcast. You can also find us on Podbean, iHeartRadio, Satchel, where you can actually donate to the show. They have just recently done some updates, and they're still working on kind of a server migration. So it's a little spotty for me at the moment. I don't know how other people are suffering, but hopefully they'll have that up and running here real soon, because I'm super excited to get back into listening to some more recent episodes of other podcasts.
What have you been listening to? Mostly
the Convert to Raid thing that I still listen to.
Okay.
Occasionally I'll just pop on other ones, because I don't listen to them all the way through. I'm not... As much as I enjoy doing this show, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts myself.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the opposite of what you should do if you're invested in a media form. Like, you know, if you want to write, read a lot. If you want to make movies, watch a lot of movies.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do a podcast, listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't.
Yeah. Well, I think podcasts are a little bit more malleable as far as that goes, because there's so many different formats.
Oh, sure. Well, you could say the same thing for movies and writing, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I guess you beat that point.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do my own thing, and I think it's the best thing that I can do.
Well, it works because I listen to a fuck ton of podcasts.
Yeah.
So I know there's been times where we've been working on stuff where I've, like the few times we've actually gotten into arguments about it, where I feel like I'm almost beating my hand on the table and being like, I listen to Podcast Remington.
Yeah.
This is not how podcasts do things.
Yeah. And I'm like, we got to break the mold, Brandon.
And I'm like, slap you.
Yeah.
I don't do it. I just say slap
You just say slap you.
Slap you.
Slap, chop. I'm sorry. So yeah, you can find us on all those places. And that's it.
And that's the end.
And that's the end of it. Brandon needs to get out of here. So until next week, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusks sharp.
Good night.
I'm so glad you didn't go with the Stephen Hawking voice in this episode.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do the story, so
Maybe next time.
maybe
We'll
next.
keep our Hawkins crossed.
Yes. Got one more episode, and then we'll take a break. So this will be in the outtakes, even though
Okay.
it's not funny. But we'll do
Penis!
one more episode either this next week if we can manage it, or the week after, and then so one of those weeks we will not do an episode,
Okay.
and we'll need to prep for episode 100,
Okay.
which I hope we can make interesting. It's going to be kind of a theme episode.
I think we can. I'm going to get, like, with episode 50, I mean, if you remember, besides the commercials, which you did the work on,
Right.
most of 50 was wrapped up with me doing stuff about memory.
Yeah.
So we already have a topic picked out for 100.
Yep.
So I plan on doing the long research that I haven't done in a while, besides the werewolf stuff, I guess,
Yeah.
and have to bring, like, some interesting topics
You know
and do
what?
a
Let's-
theme episode.
Let's go ahead and talk about I'm going to go ahead and drop the topic.
Okay.
So if you're listening,
Abortion.
No, God. I don't ever want to talk about shit like that
God,
on the podcast.
Rebortion?
I don't know what that is, but it sounds weird and
Sounds
fantastical.
messy.
Um,
God, I really just made it. I just said abortion just as a shock thing. I'm like a fucking 10th grader.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I quit the
you're
podcast.
terrible.
That's all that was.
Astrology.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be talking about astrology. So if you have any questions about astrology, hit us up in some way, shape, or form for that. You know, just anything. Because, I mean, we're talking, I'd like to go, you know, not just your standard Aquarius, you know, what is it? Is that Greek astrology? I'm not even sure.
I don't know. We have a lot of research.
We have
to
a lot
do.
of research to do. But you know, I'm even as far as like the Chinese, you know, the different years, you know, the year of the pig and stuff like that. Yeah, because that's kind of an astrology thing too, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to get into that and see the differences between.
I think astrology is any sort of like divination based off of the movement of the stars.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's more than even just divination. I feel like that's mostly what it's used for, though, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Astrology with like your horoscopes and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hopefully it'll be really interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
think
really
so.
excited to dig into some of the research for that. So
You look genuinely excited.
thanks. I'm pounding on my legs.
Yeah, you are. You're doing
Like
like,
a
what a little
child.
kid would do.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to do episode 100. We'll have to make sure to set enough time to, if it goes long. Because,
Yeah, it'll probably be a longer episode. We'll
Yeah.
block out, hours.
yeah.
It's probably going to be a 14-hour episode.
Yeah. We'll shoot for 14 hours, but we'll try to keep it within one.
Yeah. We'll do 7 hours, one for each sign.
Yeah.
Is that how many signs there are?
I don't
There's
know.
more than 7 signs.
I don't know. We should get a hold of Weird Al and see if he'll let us use the That's Your Horoscope for Today song.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
We'll just throw it in there.
I'll ask him.
All credit to Weird Al.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have what? Aquarius, Gemini, Pisces, Libra, Virgo, Taurus,
Cancer,
Cancer,
Capricorn.
Capricorn. It's already more than 7.
I think there's 12.
There's 4 more to go. See, we'll use this as an example of how little we know. So when episode 100 comes out, people will be even more impressed because they'll be like, "Damn, they did a lot of research." They
Zodiac.
learned."
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Zodiac.
So
And there are 12. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces.
what are you?
I am a Capricorn. You are, let's see, yours October 13th? Or is it on the 20s?
September 15th, Remington.
Is it September 15th?
Yeah.
Why was I thinking October? Whose birthday
Because
is
you
in
hate me
October?
and you're not a friend. I'm a Virgo. I don't believe. I mean, this is all stuff we'll talk about, I'm sure.
Sure.
I don't really believe in horoscopes. I think it's just kind of fits in. But at the same time, it's fun to read. Like, I read stuff about Virgos, and I'm just like, oh, this is me to a T.
Right, yeah.
This fits me so much.
Yeah.
Besides,
It's so vague. It's just vague enough to fit into some of the aspects of my life.
well, and that's what's weird is some of the things that it says about Virgo, I feel like applies to me on a very base level.
Yeah.
Like, Virgos are notoriously judgy. Virgos are hard to get along with.
Yeah.
Or can be hard to get along with. until you kind of get over the hump for them to trust you. And then Virgos are very, very like fiercely loyal until they feel like you've wronged them. And then they just hold a grudge for the end of time. Yeah. Like that's all classic me.
Yeah, that is.
I'm a real prick.
I'm a Capricorn, so I've got this loving, but I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn as balls.
Yeah.
I'm very loving. I'm very open. I'm very receptive. But, you know, when I put my mind to something, I don't want to change it for anything.
Yeah.
Like, you have ideas, but fuck your ideas because I'm doing it my way, dickhead. So, yeah.
Well, and one of the things I've read about, like, Virgos in relationships and stuff is that arguing with a Virgo, such as myself, can be infuriating because whenever it's an argument, I don't get mad screaming so much as like, well, here's why you're wrong. Here's why I think I'm right. And here's all of the facts. Now let's discuss them.
Yeah.
And that's aggravating to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I have a very analytical mind.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's what gets fun about it. And I mean, I think it's all bullshit. I think that they decided at some point, and you know, you fit into whatever mold you think you're going to fit into.
Sure.
But.
All right. Well, that's a precursor then. A precursor to the new episode. Or episode 100.
Spider-Man. Hey there, Spider-Man. It's me, Stanley.
Get up, we're going out. Dude, I made Totino's pizza rolls. Pizza rolls! Pizza rolls! Pizza rolls! Eat us! Okay.
Is that Galifianakis, like, in shape now?
Also, Totino stuffed nachos.
He lost weight.
What's up, guys? Wait a minute. You guys aren't the real Avengers. I can tell Hulk gives it away. Oh, that was awesome. Does Liz get a new top?
No, we've seen that before. Never with that skirt.
Should probably stop staring before it gets creepy, though.
Too late. You guys are losers.
So, to become an Avenger, are there, like, trials or an interview?
Just don't do anything I would do. And definitely don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's a little gray area in there, and that's where you operate.
Oh.
All right?
That's not a hug. I'm just grabbing the door for you. All right, kid. Good luck out there.
Listen, I know school sucks.
Peter, you still with us?
Yeah.
I know you want to save the world, but you're not ready yet.
You're the Spider-Man.
No, I'm not. I'm not. This is just a costume. This is...
You're on the ceiling.
Stay close to the ground and stay out of trouble. Forget the flying monster guy. There are people who handle this sort of thing.
I'm sick of him treating me like a kid all the time.
But you are a kid.
This is my chance to prove myself.
Peter, what is going on with you?
I'm really sorry. I'm so busy. I'm slammed.
Don't mess with me, because I will kill you and everybody you love.
That's a movie.
I think I just broke my hand.
Yeah, it sounded like it. Why is your hand doing that?
Because I'm a badass. That's what badasses do. Their hands crack.
Really? Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, whenever you see a movie and somebody's getting ready to punch something, and they go, yeah.
I assume just because their muscles were so strong that it's pulling their joints apart.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
They're just ripping their hands open.
Yeah, those are all the things that happen. Brandon, would you like to partake of my sweaty balls?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
They're delicious.
No.
Sweaty balls. Sweaty sausage?
No.
You don't want to partake of my sweaty sausage either?
No.
Do you not even know what I'm talking about?
I assume you're trying to get me to lick your genitalia?
No, it's a Saturday Night Live sketch.
Saturday Night what?
Live?
Never heard of it.
Mm.
I just feel like I have better things to do on Saturday night.
Don't fucking lie to me.
Watch a bunch of goofballs wrestle around on stage for an hour.
Goofballs. All right, let's do this.
Okay.